glitch in the matrix, but that's okay because we're back. And now we're going to get it in. I apologize, y'all. That's not a good way to start out. Again, let me welcome the Oh So Smooth Radio audience, and let me introduce you to the Black Factor family. So just so y'all know, we's married now, y'all. Okay, we got a live simulcast going on with Oh So Smooth Radio all at the same time right now with the Black Factor. So with that said, I am happy to announce that we are now broadcasting on that platform. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope to be able to bring you the information and the perspective that you deserve, because right here at the Black Factor, we got the news that you can use. And tonight's show, we're going to be discussing money. See, I'm trying to get away from the politics, y'all. Usually we talk about a lot of politics, but y'all know I like to tie the future into the past, just so we can all see how we got where we are and how we'll know how to get past where we at and get on down to where we need to be. So I want to thank my man DJ Shorty Smooth for welcoming us to his platform. And we gonna get it in, y'all. So check it out. I was watching, I got so much stuff to talk about today that it's almost, I think I'm gonna probably have to break this show down in two parts, only because I found myself continuously coming up with more and more stuff. I literally had to stop writing. Y'all know my wrist hurt from when I take notes for my shows, because we have to get, I got to get this stuff down so I can make sure I get as much in as possible without leaving out too much. But we're going to drop a whole bunch of breadcrumbs, and it's up to you to pick those breadcrumbs up and run down through there and stop and smell the flowers while you're getting them breadcrumbs and pick up some more information. As you go along, you have to sometimes pick up some stuff along the way. Add to the information that gets provided, because there's so much stuff to take in. And, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And I don't want to suggest that it is, but some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight deal directly with the entrepreneurial spirit and what we need to know in regard to how to be better in that way. Or if nothing else, how to be better financially. Let me put it that way. I want to talk about the poverty mindset tonight. We're going to talk about why so many people struggle to survive and have to continue to try to make ends meet. Black folks represent a very large number of or a large amount of money in America. We are an economic powerhouse, but the unfortunate part is, like many other things about us, we tend not to gravitate toward that or pay attention to those things. And we need to start doing that if we intend to make a better future for our children and our grandchildren, and to build our legacy. We've got a lot of programming going on, some psychological stuff that we've been dealing with for a very long time, but we're going to talk about that too. Now, one of the reasons why so many Black people who are successful are the way they are is because, and this is one of those rules that applies to successful people, period. I don't care what your color is. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you thought, what you did, who you know. Successful people are the ones who are willing to do what others won't. Now, that may sound like a cliche statement or just something that, people say when they want to try to make a point. But let's really look at that. Let's talk about that. There are people who get up earlier than everybody else, and that goes back to the old cliche, the early bird catches the worm. Well, in fact, it's true. There are things that go on during business hours that you need to be a part of. Now, everybody's business doesn't operate exactly on the same time, and all that's cool. We get all of that. But you also have to keep in mind that, when there's a line to get something, you want to be first in line if you want to get it. But you ought to make sure that whatever you're getting has value. Otherwise, you're just kind of standing in line for no reason. It's kind of like, when they talk about people who win or get things done, it's cool if you at the head of the line, as long as you in the line that's for you. Because sometimes you could be at the head of the wrong line, and it means you still end up losing. You first, but you last. So that's just something to give some little food for thought about. But another one of the reasons why a lot of black folks have been successful, historically speaking, is because they came to the conclusion that they didn't have anything to lose. And when you realize that when you're down, there's nowhere else to go but up, and you refuse to stay down, well, guess what? You're gonna make a way. They say that people who, it's okay to fall. I mean, and it is. It's okay to fall. As a business person myself, I've fallen many times. The difference is you can't stay down. You have to actually get back up. The time that you don't get up, that's when you lose. It's that one time when you refuse to get back up from the fall that you lose. But then you have to put it all into perspective, because sometimes what appears to be a fall isn't really a fall. That's the thing. Sometimes you didn't fall. You just needed to slow down a little bit. Or maybe it's some other reason why something didn't go your way. Now, I'm going to give you a real good example of that. I just had this conversation with my wife yesterday. And a year or two ago, I was interested in purchasing a club. Instead of purchasing a club, I ended up collaborating with a couple of people to do some things inside of their club. And it was on the table for, a potential purchase. Let me tell you how glad I am that things didn't go my way. I had 3 different opportunities to get into clubs over the last couple of years. At this very moment right now, I am elated that it didn't go my way. I believe that things happen the way that they're supposed to. And sometimes you can't force something that's not intended to be forced. So you just have to wait your turn. And that's okay. Because maybe by the time this pandemic is over, it might be time for me to have that club. We'll see. The other thing is this. We live in a time in society now, and this was another conversation that I was having with another friend of mine, where we no longer live in a shame society. It used to be a time when there were certain things and standards that we had as a people, as a society, that people wouldn't do, things that people wouldn't get into because they were ashamed. They didn't want to be seen in particular lights or to be held to certain standards. You had to walk the line. It was a bad thing if a young girl got pregnant. It was, a bad thing if your child was, you had the one child that just was a troublemaker and that kind of thing. Nowadays, nobody cares. So when you put that on the table, you have to ask yourself, what is it about business that keeps people from being successful when the fact is nobody cares? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose by realizing your own success? Nothing. Not a damn thing. And the funny part is you got a lot of people, they'll sit there and they'll want to be in business and they'll want to be successful in business, but they end up not doing the things that they want to do because they're more concerned about what other people are going to say than they are about their own success. And that's not a good place to be. There's no embarrassment in trying. There's no embarrassment in seeking what it is that you desire in regard to your own happiness. And if it means that there's something that you have within you, a skill, a talent, a thing that you just got to give birth to, then you need to be doing that. And you don't need to be worried about what other people think about what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, who's putting the food on your table, and who's making you happy? The number one rule to real success, truthfully, is if you want to be financially, and success has levels. Now, I ain't going to get into that tonight, because we've talked about that before on the show. Success has levels. Because to some people, success is not money. It's not businesses. It's their family. It's some other accomplishment that they may have made in their life, and that's fine. But the fact is, no matter what kind of success that you intend to realize, if you're not where you want to be in the success position that you want to be in right now today, the number one thing that you're going to have to deal with and change is your attitude. You know, attitude goes a long, long way. And attitude is everything. It means everything. It means the difference between you being happy and successful and you just being another person who gets up every day, hits that grind, and drives yourself insane. I mean, people do it every day. They get up and it's become such a habit and a routine, and it's so normal to them now that they just, live their lives on that level. And that's crazy. But people do it. It's part of the conditioning. And all of us have conditioning to some degree on some level. Some of it is good, but a lot of it is bad. So we have to learn to be able to control our thoughts. To not be in control of your thoughts means to not be in control of your life. And when you're not in control of your life, I mean, are you living life or are you letting life live you? One of the biggest problems with people and success, or anything else for that matter, ego. Everybody has an ego, but some people allow their egos to get them into trouble. They make permanent decisions for temporary situations, and those are very, very costly. So you have to be careful. That's a rule that every child should be taught from an early age. Many of us were not, though, at a very early age. But the fact is, we make decisions. A lot of times they're emotional decisions, and we do things that create problems for us that we don't have to have created, all because we allowed our ego and our feelings to get us in trouble. Broke folks stay broke by pretending that they're rich. Rich folks stay rich by pretending that they're broke. That's the truth. It may be cliche, but it's real. You think about it. How many times have we seen a broke person go out and buy something to impress people that they don't even like, that don't even like them, with money that they don't even have? How insane is that? But that's ego. That's that emotional side of things. That's what gets you in trouble. But here's the thing, y'all. We still live in America. And regardless of what color you are, we still have an opportunity to take advantage of capitalism. I like that word. Capitalism is a good word because you get to capitalize off of situations. Now, I'm not saying, you got to capitalize off of people sometimes that are hurting, but I'm going to tell you, I'll give you a real good example. Right now, the way the economy is set up, and a lot of times I make predictions, and I'm rarely wrong. And the times that I want to be wrong are the times when we know things are bad. But I'm going to say this. Right now, and in the very near future, if you got some money stacked, or if you're spending your money like crazy, stop, because you're going to need it. And here's why you're going to need it. Because things are going to get bad. And at the worst they get, not because you need to have your money on hand because things are bad, but because you're going to need to take advantage and capitalize off of the opportunities that are about to present themselves. And trust and believe, they are about to present themselves. There are going to be some things that are about to come up that you may not have been able to afford in the past, or some things that you may have wanted to do. But I'm going to tell you like this. Property values are about to go down some more. There are going to be a lot of other things that are going to come about that's going to put you in real good shape to do some more things. So this is just something to think about for the future. Now, we already talked about the other day, we talked about some stocks. We talked about, and I'm going to keep throwing this out there. Y'all need to catch on to it. Right now, and as a matter of fact, today, or the last couple of days, Joe Biden, our new president, has talked very heavily about green energy and about renewable energy. And this was something that I had already thought about. And the fact is, now that this new administration is in place and they're pushing toward green energy, he made the announcement that the United States government is about to go and start grabbing new equipment and vehicles for the United States government. In other words, and they're going to be all electric. But here's the thing, y'all. What do electric cars need? They need electricity. So there are going to be a lot of new electrical stations put up, new charging stations put up everywhere. The companies that are making these charging stations and the companies that are going to be dealing with these charging stations, there's your next investment. That's where you need to be looking. Now, that's just an example. There will be other industries that are going to come from this. There's going to be more jobs. There's going to be a lot more things that happen behind this, but that's just one way to do what? What I just say? To capitalize. You got to capitalize off of what's happening. See, when a game is given to you, a lot of times you know what the instructions are. You know the rules. When you know the rules to the game, you can play the game. One of the mistakes that we make is we always want the rules to change to fit our needs. Skip that. Know the rules, work within the confines of the rules, and make it work for you. You got to work hard, not smart. See? The game is cold, but it's fair. You got to learn how to play the game, y'all. You got to be creative sometimes. Sometimes you got to figure out how to, within those rules, make things work for you. You got to make it all work out. And you can. It's not that difficult. And it really doesn't take that much. I think sometimes we get these ideas in our head and we start thinking, oh, it's going to cost me this and it's going to take that to make this happen. Nah, sometimes it really doesn't. You just have to be creative. You got to figure things out. And when you don't have something and you want more, oh, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out, but you got to think. You got to step outside your box. Sometimes you can't be in being in your comfort zone, that's another thing. That also keeps you in trouble. Comfort zones are for comfortable people. And if you're not comfortable, if you live in paycheck to paycheck, you live in day to day and you ain't got nothing sitting in the bank and you ain't got an insurance policy and all those different things, you're a little too comfortable for your situation. So you need to figure something out. You need to figure out what you need to do. You can't change the rules all the time. Sometimes you got to make the rules work in your favor. And it's not really that hard to do. Now, I'm going to show you some. Last couple of days, it's been all over social media. Master P has snapped out about this new social media platform that everybody is talking about. And here's the thing. He's absolutely correct. This company a couple of months ago was only worth about what? $100 million. I think it was $100 million or something like that. The company's been around since 2015. Now, that tells you right there that it wasn't a big deal. But guess who made it a big deal? Guess who are the people who made Clubhouse become the powerhouse that it has become? It is now a $1 billion company. And guess who put it there? Black folks. Now, people talk all the time about black people not having the economic, we black folks poor, we live in the hood, this, that, and the other. Don't you believe that? It's money in the hood, baby. Don't you ever believe that all black folks are broke. See, you can't buy into the narrative. You can't buy into the BS that white folks keep feeding everybody. Every time you see somebody white, they get mad at somebody black on TV or in the media. The first thing come out their mouth, get a job. So you think every black person walking around out here don't have a job. Is that right? Well, that's unfortunate. But then on the other hand, good. I hope you keep thinking that, because then that gives me an advantage, because you think so little of me, you don't see me coming. And I like that. Keep that up. That's a good thing. So here's the thing. Master P is saying that we have created yet another platform that has made someone else, them, us, not us. And when I say us, I mean black folks. When I say them, I'm talking about white folks. Ain't no need in sugarcoating it. This is the black factor. We own the black factor. That's what we do here. We are a part of the equation. We are the factor that is black in America. So what we've essentially done is made yet another company very wealthy by using that platform the way that we do so many other things. Do y'all realize how many people, how many millions, matter of fact, how many billions of dollars that the black community has made other companies? Baby, look, it's incredible, the things that we do. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the owners of Clubhouse. Let me show you how smart they are. This is a person or people, I don't know exactly who or how many of them it is, but these people have figured out how to harness the egos and ideas of black folks and make it benefit them. Don't you think for 1 second that retailers and other producers of products and services don't pay attention to black consumer habits? Don't ever think that. They do, and they do it for a reason. They know what side that bread is buttered on. Now, we only make up 13% of the population, but the amount of money that we spend in this country annually is off the charts. And I mean, I'm not talking about a little bit of money. And don't you think for 1 second they don't see that, because they don't see black or white. They see green. And they know that we got it and we will spend it. Why? Because we have bought into so many of those conditioned habits that we have, that we tend to spend money in ways that other folks maybe don't. And it goes back to what I said earlier about people who live like they rich, but they broke. And the difference between the ones who are very rich and they live like they broke. The broke folks live like they rich, and the rich folks live like they broke. Man, look at Bill Gates. Y'all ever seen Bill Gates in a nice outfit? That boy look like he shopped straight out of Walmart. Got money longer than train smoke. Y'all know what it is. So, despite the behavior, the sometimes prejudicial and bigoted behavior that you may run across at some of these retail stores or some of these places where the salespeople can barely afford the products that they sell, the owners know what it is. Trust and believe. Because what they ain't going to do is tell you, no, you can't buy this because you black. We know better. They use black folks. They play on our habits. They play on our concerns. They play on our vanity. And why do I say this? I say this because black people create all the trends. We create all the fashion. We create all the popular things. Think about this. We all over social media. We show the world what we do. You can go to any country on this planet right now, and you're going to see white folks, black folks of other nations acting like black Americans. Period, point blank. Rap music is in everything, everywhere. Hip hop, everywhere. It's all around us. And it ain't nothing that nobody can do about it. But what the problem is that we ain't getting paid. See, them culture vultures are getting paid off of what we do and the things that we create. When you go to Europe and you see a little white boy walking around with his pants hanging off his ass, even though I hate that thing right there, I can't stand that. But the fact is, they copy who? And then the funny thing is, and I found this out, I didn't know this, but they actually study the younger black males between 17 and 25. This is how they come up with a lot of this stuff. I mean, let's think about this. You see guys walking around with these Gucci belts and these Louis Vuitton belts. Who else you see wearing that stuff? You don't see no white boys walking around with a Gucci belt on, with his pants hanging. You don't see that. And if you do, it's because he's copying who? See, everybody want to be black till it's time to be black. So that's just a fact. It's economics, y'all. We set the trends that the world follows, not just a few people, the world. Now, here's the thing, though. We the only ones that think that if we follow something black folks is doing, it's something wrong. I know too many people who see black people doing something and they'll try to find a way to be contrary just to say, y'all did that. You know, we quick to say things like that. You know, think about this. Y'all remember when, and here's another trend. Y'all remember when Popeyes came out with that damn sandwich? Who y'all think made Popeyes all that money? They got advertising for that damn Popeye sandwich that they could have never paid for in a million years. That kind of publicity, you can't buy that. Who put that sandwich on the map? Black folks. The chicken lovingest folks in the world. Now, if you ain't never seen, I did a show earlier this year called Fried Chicken and Watermelon. Now, you might want to go back and watch that show. Who put that sandwich on the map? Black folks. We made Popeyes $1 billion damn off a damn chicken sandwich. And we didn't get paid for it. We got nothing for it. Now, I'm going to jump subjects. Kind of. Here's one of my pet peeves. When I hear black folks say, and this is what I'm talking about when I say being contrary to black people trying to be successful in doing their thing. I hear black folks say stuff like this. I try to support black businesses, but it's always this, and they don't never do that, and blah, blah, blah. And they lump every black business person into a big old role as if to say, I ain't fooling with black businesses, like they're going to punish the black race because they had a bad experience in a business. These same black people are the ones that'll say, you had one of them chicken sandwiches? I ain't never had one of them chicken sandwiches. They think by being different or saying that they're different, that somehow they become interesting. You're not interesting. Just because you did something different than everybody else, that doesn't make you interesting. Actually do something first. That's just a little something from me to you, just so you know. Here's the thing. When it comes to black businesses, a black business is no different than a white business, a Vietnamese business, or anybody else. Mexican, it don't matter. The bottom line is you're going to have good experiences and you're going to have bad experiences, period. It bothers me that we think we have to separate and subjugate one another because that person happens to be black that owns the business. You don't hear nobody going, oh, I'm not supporting no more white businesses because they was doing this, they did this to me and they cheated me out of my money, whatever. You don't hear that. You don't hear nobody say, I ain't going to no more Asian stores. I ain't going to no more Arabs because they follow me around the store. You don't hear that. It's just like saying black on black crime. Please stop. There's no such thing. We do so much damage to ourselves, it's unreal. And we don't even realize we're doing it. And even if we do, again, you're not interesting because you decided to call yourself boycotting all black businesses. All black business people are not bad black business people. I am one. And I pride myself on making sure that my business is handled. And anybody who deals with me and has dealt with me, many of my Black Factor family that's on this show tonight have bought my book and other products from me. And if you've ever had a problem, you know that I've always addressed it. And I can count on one hand the problems that I may have had. So am I included in, I'm not doing business with a black person because they can't get it right? That's unfortunate. And it's a shame that you would do that to me or anybody else within the black community who is trying to make us better. Let's not forget the Black Wall Streets of the world. How do you think they came to be? Because they were supported by black people within their community. What's wrong with us supporting one another in our community and not trying to label us the same way white people do? Why would you take the time to label a black business the same way somebody else who would rather oppress you does? Get your head in the right place. Get your mind right. This is about black empowerment, y'all. We may not always get it perfect, but we try. Sometimes it's going to be mistakes. But if you're going to hold us to a certain standard, make sure you hold everybody else that you do business with to that same standard. So the next time you go, if you one of those people, I don't do business with black people because they can't get it right. The next time you go to a white business and the same thing happens, I want you to come out of there and go on Facebook the same way you do with black business that you're not satisfied with and post all on Facebook. I'm not going to no more black businesses or white businesses because they treated me bad. I bet you won't do it. I got $100 say you won't do it. Y'all, when it comes to social media, we got the best memes. We got the best blogs. We got the best TikToks. We got the best everything. They want to be like us. Everybody want to be like us until it's time to be like us. But that's okay. I'm going to put it to you like this. I'm unapologetically black, and I love the skin that I'm in. Now, I want to show y'all something about Clubhouse. Now, this is a very interesting little tidbit. And I want you to really question and think about what I'm saying right here for those of you who are members of Clubhouse. Why is Clubhouse blown up like it has? See, these are the things we don't think about. This is why I'm about to give you some of that perspective I was talking about. Well, here's why. Clubhouse has provided a false sense of exclusivity. And black folks tend to like to feel like they're exclusive. And it goes back to what I just said a few minutes ago about how people think that if they haven't done something or they're a part of something that's different than everybody else, that they're somehow interesting. Think about this. The ongoing and forever argument about Android to iPhone. Oh, you got an Android? Oh, iPhones are garbage. I have my own preferences, but I won't get into that right now because that's not the point. The point is this. Clubhouse opened specifically on iPhone. Now, the people who have iPhones generally have an attitude that they are better than everybody else. That they are better because they have an iPhone and they're not an Android. And they spent a lot of money on their phone. Not that it does any more than an Android. And in fact, the quality of the cameras are less. But it doesn't matter because they have an iPhone. And they go and they get a whole iPhone platform. They get the computer, they get the iPad, they get everything iPhone, this, that, and the other. And they think that makes them special. So now they've opened up Clubhouse. Now here's the really killing part. Clubhouse, also, you have to have an invitation. Now it's invitation only. Oh shit, we feel real special now. I got to get an invite. I got invited. Ooh, look at me. I'm special. So now it's like, ooh, you want to get on Clubhouse? Ooh, yeah, you got to get an invite. You know what it reminds me of? See, this is the exclusive access. It reminds me of, I used to live in Atlanta, spent some time out in California. And there's one thing that always was very curious to me. When you want to go to the club and there's a line outside the door going down the street and you can't get in, you got to wait your turn. If you're even able to get in. They do it in New York, they do it in Atlanta, they do it in LA. Now, and down some places in Florida. Now, and believe it or not, sometimes there ain't even nobody in the damn club. It just looked like the club got it going on because they got all these people sitting out here waiting and they feel special. Same way people line up to go buy Jordans and all kind of other stuff. They like, oh, if I don't get my pair, I got to get a pair because everybody else got them. See, it's that false sense of exclusivity that has made Clubhouse the powerhouse that it is becoming. Now, I did say that we need another platform. Now, let me show you something. It's only a matter of time, and this is a prediction. It's only a matter of time before it is expanded over to Android. Why? Because Clubhouse is not about to continue cutting their own throat financially. They're already making a ton of money. The only difference is that the iPlatform is selling more product because people feel like they're missing something. How smart is that? How smart is the marketing where they say, okay, well, we're going to exclusively deal with you. Now, I'm telling you, this is a prediction because I don't know this to be absolutely true. I don't know it's a fact, but I'm telling you what I think. They have a deal with the iPhone people, with the Apple folks, and says, okay, well, we're going to hold out for another about 6 months. And then we're going to jump over to let Androids in then. So in other words, we're going to put the cream of the crop in the building. And by the way, since it's only on the Apple platform, guess what? We can sell some more products because people feel like they're missing something. So they'll go out and buy another phone. They'll go out and buy an iPad. They'll go out and buy another laptop just to get access to something that they think that they're missing out on something else from. See, that's marketing 101. Smartest thing I've seen lately. But this is how we get used. And guess who all is on Clubhouse? Do I need to point it out? Ain't no money in the hood. Are you crazy? This is how it is. This is how it works. They're making a killing off of egos, emotions, and ignorance. All of this, and here we are trying to figure out what needs to be done. Now, here's the thing. How many other brands have we caused success to be bestowed upon? You got all your designer bags and Gucci and Pucci and Fiorucci and all of that good stuff. You got alcohol brands. I remember when somebody was all the rap music, they would be talking about the Henny. And then you had people making all the different alcohols. Remember Billy D. Williams with Colt 45. All the different alcohol brands, they use somebody black to promote. Why is that? Now, I could be wrong. I think that guy that promotes, what was it, Dos Equis? He was Hispanic. I'm just trying to think of a time where there were white people promoting a brand of alcohol and made it popular. And made it popular through rap music. I don't know. Well, all I can say is the list of companies that have made $1 billion, millions and millions of dollars off of us, the list is long, y'all. Now, here's another funny thing. And this is something else we need to get past. The other day, I saw a meme where a guy was making jokes, making fun of 2020 by saying that everybody in 2020 started cleaning credit and invested in the stock market. Now, he said that it was the way the meme read, it was in a joking matter as if to make fun of these people. Well, let me say this. Out of all the challenges that come across Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, I think personally, this is a good one. How do you go wrong by investing in the stock market and cleaning credit? If you're going to be doing something, why not be doing something that's going to be beneficial? Both of those are very beneficial. We need more challenges like those. We need more interest in those types of things. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of black folks start gravitating toward investment. I've seen people dealing with Bitcoin, and I don't know if that Forex thing is right or wrong. I always delete those. I can't stand that. But you got people that's dealing with the coin companies, the cryptocurrency. You got people that are putting money in other investments, getting brokers, dealing with the stock market. I'm one. You got people that are cleaning credit and dealing with the credit industry. I'm one of them too. You got people that are doing all sorts of things that are coming across that are financially beneficial. Why not do these things? I don't see anything funny about that. Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. If you're gonna be doing some of this silly social media stuff, that's the thing to do. Or at least something like it anyway, I believe. So, I mean, like, hey, I and don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. I don't mind the Busset challenge. That's, hey. But it's time to stop shaking ass and start shaking that motherfucking pockets. Start shaking them pockets. You feel me? It's time to, get that money. You dig? Quit playing. So, we just got to do. And let me tell you something. Now I'm about to get on the people who got this problem with social media. Because I see people all the time. I'm not getting on Facebook, and I'm not getting on them social media. Them people they don't be on that bull. They be on that mess. They don't be. Let me tell you something. And I know that, some people have their paths and their plans and all of that good stuff. But people who don't want to fool with social media are very similar to people who in the 90s, in the 2000s, I don't fool with computers. I don't know nothing about that stuff. And they shied away from it and stayed away from it. Let me tell you something. You can't even get a job now without using a computer, without going online and applying for the job. You can do little or nothing without a computer now. I'm saying all of this to say Do not be that person that allows your inability or unwillingness to deal with social media be the reason why you put yourself in a catch-22. It's not necessary. Now, I know everybody ain't, some people just, they got all they need and they happy, and that's cool. That's fine. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm talking to people that's trying to get things done. Social media has become a billion-dollar business. And anybody who doesn't see that, well, I got some news for you. If it wasn't for example, the internet, I mean, let's think about it. Jeff Bezos has created a platform that is just bananas. Bill Gates capitalized off of it. He's helped create the platform that made it possible. He's one of those pioneers. At the end of the day, we are at a place now where it's almost necessary to deal in social media. No, you don't have to be on there and, be clowning and being messy and acting a fool. But what you don't want to do is not be behind the curve. Brick and mortar stores are closing daily, not just because of COVID, but because of the Amazons of the world and other platforms and industries that are coming about because the internet has made it all possible. Think about this. Black Twitter. And there is such a thing, for those of you who may not know, for those of you who don't frequent social media that way. Black Twitter can turn anything viral in a day. I need y'all to understand that monetizing attention on the internet is what's happening now. There are people literally making millions of dollars just because they said something profound, just because people want to listen to what they have to say. There are people that are literally this social media thing is off the chain. I can't even get into all the avenues and areas that these things are where it's happening. Right now, without social media, I would not be having this conversation with you right now. Some of you are gaining information and knowledge from this conversation. Some of you may not be. But at the end of the day, not only do I broadcast on Facebook, because Facebook is the primary platform, I broadcast all while I'm talking to y'all right now. And let me suggest too that you make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, hit your notification button, so whenever we are on, you'll know, because we'll be on every Wednesday with my Oh So Smooth community out there. We'll be on every Wednesday here at 7 o'clock. But we're also on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook right now live. And those broadcast replays can be seen on all of those platforms, as well as you can hear the broadcast replays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and I'll be on iHeartRadio next week. Just as an example, I'm able to get my messages out to a very large audience because these platforms make it possible. Social media, y'all. Now, remember this. Social media is very much like the company that you keep in real life. And I say that to say this. You're not going to hang around somebody you don't like in real life. You're not going to sit up and chop it up and kick it with somebody you don't like in real life. So you don't have to do it on social media either. You ain't going to answer your door for somebody you think is a psycho fool. So you don't have to deal with them on social media. Look, I'm going to tell y'all like this. You can block anybody. My block game is impeccable. Please believe it. I'll cut your water off. You get to talking crazy to me because I'm not about to argue with nobody over nothing stupid. I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. I ain't got it. I can't do it. No, I'm not going to. Regardless, you could be right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't give a damn. Just know that. What I want to do is see us get back to the Black Wall Street of today. It is available to us, and we can make it happen. But we have to learn how to be collective in our finance and in our thinking. And I know that's a stretch, y'all. That's another show for another day. But we got to find ways to thrive together, or we're going to perish individually. We have to figure these things out. We've done it before. We can do it again. But even though before a lot of it was by force because we didn't have any choices, but look at how powerful we were when we didn't have a choice, when we didn't have that option to go and go over there and see if the white man's ice was colder. We dealt with our own ice, and we did well, of course, until we had the massacres that took place that have destroyed many communities. The Wilmington, North Carolina community, for example, where there was an actual insurrection, much like the one we saw on the 6th, or Black Wall Street that we're all familiar with, where that is the only city in the United States that's ever been bombed by air. These are the things that we can get back to, only this time we ain't gonna let nobody take what we make. It's a new day. Them things ain't happening no more. And as some people like to say, which I don't know if I like to quote that much, but I will agree, we are not our ancestors, and you will not do to them what you did to us, because we are not afraid of the repercussions, nor are we afraid to shut that down. The black factor, y'all, that's what that is. Please believe it. We're going to do what we got to do. But what we have to do is stop discriminating against our own and stop assimilating to those who would rather see us oppressed and keep us in a perpetual state of poverty, and continue to try keeping this machine running using our blood to do it. Sometimes we act very much like our oppressors without even knowing it. We've got to learn to act collectively. Lack of trust, y'all. That's one of the things, and this is where we get into the historical area of it. The lack of trust is a byproduct of slavery. That's one of the reasons why we have so many problems being collective financially, and even sometimes psychologically. Spiritually, no, let me take that back. Not spiritually. Religiously, we tend to be collective. Maybe. We pretend to be. But we have to figure out ways to use collective financing, because we happen to know, in fact, one of my daughters is a banker. She is a bank VP. And in fact, she was telling me today that they had a meeting that dealt with diversity and the lack of funding toward people of color. See, and the bottom line is we have to get past continuing to ask for what we got coming. One of the reasons why we haven't gotten reparations and why we haven't received our due for building this country is because we continue to ask. And as my regular Black Factor family knows, what are my favorite words? Power concedes nothing without demand. And if we don't demand it, ain't nobody gonna give it. But we got it. You can't keep asking. Eventually, somebody gonna have to take it. But if we continue to distrust our own, because this is the conditioning that we were instilled with in our culture by those masters who enslaved our people, we will continue to suffer the same way we almost did during slavery itself. There's a little thing called meritorious manumission, and that is the opportunity for a slave to purchase his freedom if he finds a way to benefit his master by making him money or saving him money. However, meritorious manumission also is a way that black folks got their freedom by telling the master about another black person who was trying to escape, or who was trying to cause an insurrection, or who was trying to do something that they considered subversive or had contraband or whatever the case may be. And we, unfortunately, on a lot of occasions, still operate in meritorious manumission against one another. This is very similar to what we call a sellout. And Lord knows we got a bunch of them running among us. Those agent provocateurs, we got those infiltrators. It's unfortunate, but we got them. But this is how we ended up with them, because they think that by doing these things, they're going to somehow get ahead and do better by putting you down. It's just like the people who like to put other people down to make themselves feel bigger. And that's just not the way. You want to be bigger, but you can't be bigger by taking somebody else down. That's just not the way the game goes. Now, I'm about to get off into this business area right quick. And right quick, let me take a quick pause to say that it is almost time for my Oh So Smooth simulcast to end. But we are going to continue on here in on our regular platforms with the webcam. So y'all don't go nowhere. But let me say to my Oh So Smooth Radio audience, I appreciate you very much for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are always available on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. So, we're going to be bidding you all adieu here in about 1 minute. So, y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we will talk to you again on next Wednesday. Now, for the rest of y'all, we're going to keep this party going. And now we're getting ready to get into what I like to refer to as validation. Here's what you got to ask yourself. Why do we wait for other people to validate us before we begin to realize our own successes? Do you know that you don't have to wait for someone else to validate you? Now, here's where I give you a very interesting story. Now, some of you have seen this and some of you may not have. This right here is a poster. Yeah, it's kind of, oh, there we go. That's better. That I did, back in 2002. It's called Choices. Some of you may have seen it in public, in gallery, in stores. Some of you may not. But let me give you a little story about that piece of art that is still, to this day, a bestseller. And we're about to go into 2022. I've done quite well with that piece, thankfully. But let me tell you a story about that. One day I went to there was a photographer, real famous photographer, who he had an event where, he had other photographers come in and he was showing everybody his work and how he did his thing, how he got out. And it was a beautiful thing. I loved it. But then right at the end, I bought his book. I wanted to buy his book because he had a lot of beautiful art in there, beautiful photographs that he had taken, some time-lapse stuff, some really beautiful work. And, me being a fairly new photographer, I want to learn as much as I can. Well, I was the only black guy in the room, but I sat there and I waited for everybody else to kind of get finished. And this was after I had published this piece. And I am self-published, by the way. There's a story behind that too. But there was a guy in front of me and he was standing there and he was like, yeah, so what do I need to do to, can I shadow you or follow you around and learn to take photos like you do and this type of thing here? And, all that was cool. But the guy, it was almost like he was really disappointed when the guy told him, no, he couldn't do it. And he was like, well, how is a person like me supposed to actually, get out here in the world and start making money, with my photography and that kind of thing? And so the man gave him a little, kind of little pep talk, and he made him feel a little bit better. But then it occurred to me, my piece had been out a couple of months and I was already making money off of it. And I didn't, at that time, I never considered myself to be no hell of a photographer. In fact, if a real photographer, if a photographer looked at this picture, they could find a million flaws in it. But guess what? The people who buy that particular piece of art don't care. They don't care about the technical aspects of what is on that photograph. What they care about is the subject matter. But what it made me realize was, and I got this lesson from another artist friend of mine. Matter of fact, we had him on the show a couple of months ago, Kevin Wack Williams. You don't wait for other people to validate you. You validate yourself. You do what you do and you present it to the world, right, wrong, or indifferent. They don't like it. Oh, well. It's from your heart. It's from your creativity. It's from your creation. It's from what you believe in yourself. That's enough validation for everybody. And if it's good, guess what? You don't have to brag about it to nobody because other people will brag about it for you. That's the thing about being successful. That's the thing about doing something good. You don't have to talk about it because if it's good enough, trust me, everybody else is going to talk about it. You ain't got to open your mouth. All you got to do is wait. It's coming. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to put it in front of people, but you don't beg for nobody's validation. That's the wrong move. So that's just one of those things, man. It just, it's so important that we understand that individually we can do whatever we want, and consistency means everything. Now, another example, the Black Fact of the book, the actual book. When I wrote this book, I said to myself, well, I guess I'll find somebody to publish my book. But then I realized, having published my own artwork, why would I pay somebody else to publish my work? Why would I wait for another publisher or some company to tell me, oh man, it ain't good enough? Or, oh no, well, I need you to do this or I need you to do that so that your audience will purchase it. Guess what? I ain't had no shortage of book sales. Regardless of what I never gave them a chance to tell me no. I published my own book. I learned what I needed to learn in order to make it come to fruition. For me, that's validation. That's real validation, not what somebody else thinks. Real validation is when you do you and you let the chips fall where they may. That's when you know when you're doing what you do. Now, I'm talking about all my different businesses right now. Here's yet another one. I created these pieces yesterday for a customer, and I want to, they're not completed yet. They still have to be polished, but these are pieces of jewelry that I created for one of my customers. A ring, matching bracelet, and a pendant. These are other rocks that I cut because I do cut stones and stuff like that too. But I'm just giving you an example. And I'm saying all of this right now to say streams of income, y'all. I know y'all have heard that, but let me reiterate, streams of income. You must have those if you really want to be successful in this world. Most of the people that I know that are really, really, really getting money, they got streams of income. They have different avenues and different venues and different ways of getting money. Now, for me, I mean, I got other streams of income. I got a trucking company, I got my publishing company. I got my book. I got my jewelry. I have this webcast. I have my blogs and my podcast. There are other things. These are the things that we have to, when you do stuff that you love, just remember this. It ain't work. Because, there's an old cliche that says, if you work hard. Well, let me tell you something. Working hard is for suckers. Working hard is the trick they pull on you to make you believe that if you work hard, you'll be successful. Fact is, some of the people I know that work the hardest get the least. It ain't about working hard, it's about working smart. That's what it's all about. You got to work smart. If you work smart, you understand the game. Like what I talked about earlier, you understand the game, you play by the rules of the game, and you work smart, things come your way. They happen for you. But by working hard, it's not going to be necessarily the thing that puts you where you want to be. Some people will say, oh, he works really hard. But if he's doing something that he loves, guess what? It ain't really work. It may look hard to you, but it's easy as hell to me because I love what I'm doing. I can spend hours and hours and hours doing what I love. And to me, that's just not working hard. Although somebody else may say something different. Perspective. It's all about perspective. Perspective is everything. Without it, you have nothing. You don't have a leg to stand on. You cannot allow yourself to be discouraged by others because of that validation. I've never let anybody validate me. I do what I do. And whatever happens, fine. Whatever don't, that's fine too. But let me show you what people will do. They'll tell you, oh man, you can't do that. Why can't I? And the funny part is, usually the people that tell you about stuff that you can't do, they've never done it. They've never tried. I learned a little habit something I came up with after years of people telling me all the stuff that I couldn't do that I went ahead and did anyway. See, the funny part is you can fail your way to success, if that's even a thing. But just remember, there's no such thing as failure. There's only lessons and successes. No failure. Failure is when you give up. But here's what people will do. They'll say, oh, you can't do that. And I'll look at them and I say, oh, yeah? Well, I tell you what, since you seem to have it figured out, do this for me. Draw me a diagram or explain to me how that worked out when you did it so I'll know what mistakes not to make. Tell me what you did wrong so I'll know how to do it. And you already know that conversation is met with silence. Why? Because they can't tell you what they did when they tried it because they haven't tried it. So guess what? For you, it becomes trial and error. When I published my first book, it was all trial and error. And yes, it may have cost me a little bit of money. But these are the reasons why now I consult people. I am a consultant of many things. Why? Because I've done the work. I've done the leg work. I've done the homework. I've done the groundwork. So now when you call me and ask me about something, I'm going to say, here's my fee. And I don't mind helping you, but that's just another business. Why? Because I've done all the leg work. You want it easy? I got it for you. I'm happy to give it to you for a small price. And the sad part is most of my friends will be like, hey, ain't charge me nothing. That ain't true. Don't get that in your head. I'm charging. Anyway, I must like you. Anyway, you can't be discouraged by these people. You don't let people tell you what you can and can't do because there's too much to be done in the world. And there are people who didn't realize that there was something that they couldn't do and they actually got it done and they are all the better for it. And in fact, the world is better for it. You know, that's the thing about invention, you know. Necessity is the mother of invention. And that's the beauty of being an inventor or a creative person because you fill the voids. You fill the vacuum. They need people like us in the world. Without us, where would the world be? And I bet you a lot of y'all right now listening to me are exactly like me. You just haven't tried. All you got to do is try. All you got to do is put yourself out there. So now you got homework. My Black Factor family, you got homework. Find what it is that you love and do it. Don't wait. Ain't nothing to wait for. Just do it. Do it. You ain't got nothing to lose. Just try. Because let me tell you something. More people have suffered from fear than have from failure. Because the fearful people never got off the couch. The people who failed tried. But what did I say about failure? There's no such thing. There's only lessons and successes. So if you've tried, then you know what you did or what you didn't do, and you do it again. And the next time you do it, you know what step you not to take so that you don't end up where you were the last time. Unless, of course, you are insane. Or like what Einstein said, the definition of insanity is what? Doing something over and over and expecting a different result. Well, you know not to do that. At least you should. But just remember that consistency is everything. As long as you remain consistent, success will come. But you got to stick in there. Everything is not going to happen overnight. Some things take longer than others and some things don't. Some of the stuff that I thought was going to take me the longest to pick up on took me the least amount of time. Some of the things I thought were going to be super duper easy. Oh, I'm working hard. But that hard work is fun for me. So it makes it all worthwhile. It makes it all worth it. Because I can't do something over and over and over that I can't stand or that I don't like. Just remember that every time you get up in the morning and you go punch that clock for somebody else, you're making their dreams come true and not your own. Because it's something that each and every one of y'all out there want to do or should be doing, but you're not doing it because you want to make ends meet. And because you want to make ends meet, you think you have to get up and let somebody else put their kid through private school and buy that new Ferrari because you want that check at the end of the week. But if you just did a little bit of the work, you could have a check of your own. You could have your own Ferrari. Yes, you could. All you got to do is work. I heard a funny a story where a man walked up to he had a guy working for him. I don't know if it was his son-in-law or something. He said, man, that man bought a brand new car and he came to the job with it. And this guy, he owned the company. He shows up with this brand new Corvette or whatever kind of car it was, something exotic. And the kid goes, oh man, that's nice. And the boss says, man, yeah. He said, and guess what? If you work hard, if you work really hard, I can buy another one next year. So all you got to do is just figure out what it is that you need to be doing. Everybody has some gift, something that you got in you that you're supposed to be doing. You got to think about that, and you got to be prepared to do it. And you got to at least get ready to get started to get it done. It's never too late. As long as you got breath in your body, you can do it. Trust me, because I continue to reinvent myself. I'm 55 years old, and I still don't think I know enough, and I'm steady learning. A friend of mine told me one time, he said, man, you know, you about the jack of all trades. He said, you know a little bit of something about everything, but you ain't never mastered nothing. And you know what? I came to the conclusion that I wasn't meant to master anything. I was meant to learn more and more and more. That way, I could do what I am really good at, and that's convey that information to people who need to hear it. That's you. I got y'all. I got your back. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to learn and be prosperous from that knowledge that they gain from losing that fear and working your way to where it is you need to be. I want us to begin to practice black on black business. Yeah, see, y'all thought I was going to say black on black crime. Black on black business, y'all. That's what we need to be practicing. That's the new term, black on black business. I'm not going to work. Well, yeah, I'm a little late in the game, but let me just put it to y'all this way. It ain't nothing like working for 50 years so that you could try to live comfortable for the next 10 or 20 if you live that long. You can start getting it together now where you can do what you want now so that you don't have to wait, bust your ass for somebody else for decades, only to have a couple of good years left to try to enjoy what little bit that you have managed to try to save or set aside. Now, I'm not saying that you can't work and work smart, invest, business, all sorts of other things. I've known people to do it. I don't ever want y'all to think that everything is one-sided. No, 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 no. No. You can do more than one thing at a time. It is possible, yes, you can do it. And I suggest that you do that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be working for somebody. What I'm saying is be working for somebody else, but be working for yourself in the meantime. That's all I'm saying. Got to work smart and not hard. Life is just like a big old Monopoly game. And if you know how to play Monopoly, then you understand how the game is really played. Because think about it. Real estate is one of the number one wealth-making vehicles. But that Monopoly game, people play thinking, oh, this is a game. Monopoly ain't no damn game. Monopoly is real. Monopoly is like life. If you learn to master the game of Monopoly, trust me, you can do the rest of this. I don't lose at Monopoly. Please believe it. You got to get up early in the morning to whoop me at Monopoly. All right? So all I'm saying is, when you learn the game will treat you the way you want to be treated. When you understand the rules, even though you got to pay your black tax, even though we know that black labor equals white wealth, even though we know that sometimes we have to wait for somebody else to validate us, no, we don't. Just build your streams of income. Try as hard as you can to shake the programming, that slave mentality, that poverty mindset, and be prepared to reap the benefits of success. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I thank you for listening to my rant tonight, because y'all know sometimes I go off on out in left field, and this is one of them nights. But I think we've had a good conversation, and I hope I have planted some seeds. I hope I have motivated. I hope that I have caused some of y'all to want to practice black on black business. I hope that you are prepared to get up in the morning. I want you to go to sleep tonight and relax. No, forget that. Get off this show and look up what it is that you want to be doing and start doing it. Figure it out. Repair your credit, join an investment group, buy you a Bitcoin. That's a damn shame too, buy a Bitcoin if you can afford that joker. I had one of my daughter's boyfriends was trying to get me to figure that thing out some time ago, back when it was like $2 or $3 a coin, and I kind of blew it off. Well, now you know I'm pretty sick because he's a millionaire and I'm not. Anyway, so look, y'all, I appreciate everybody for checking in with me. We went a long time tonight. We got our conversation on and conversation in, and here we are. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. It has been real like it always has, like it always is, because we have fun on the Black Factor. But just remember, this is the Black Factor, where perspective is everything. And do not forget that you can always catch us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. And the podcast is available on Apple products, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and iHeartRadio. And every Wednesday, Oh So Smooth Radio. You can download the app and you can just listen in. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you again. I have had a fantastic time tonight, and y'all make me happy. You make me want to do what I do. Thank you. Have a beautiful, beautiful sleep, a beautiful evening, beautiful night, beautiful dinner, whatever it is. Just make it beautiful. But get up tomorrow with resolve and drive and get that money. I'm out of here. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all.